Hi, today in this video we are going to see how we can actually add a form into a tab page. So imagine now we have one project. So we have a tab with two pages and I have two buttons created, page 1, page 2. So when I click page 1, it will show tab page 1. When I click on the button page 2, it will show tab page 2. So now my tab page 2 is blank. So we want to add this form B into tab page 2 so that both tab page 1 and 2 actually has two different forms. How do we go about doing it? So let's follow this. So imagine now I have the codes for this form B, which looks like this. If you click on the icon, it will change. Okay, so we have this project with the form inside. So how do we add this form into this project and appear on tab page 2 here? Okay, so first thing, add form to project. Right click on the project at the solution explorer. So this is the solution explorer. Right click on the project. This form, the project is known as form A. Select add existing item. So we right click here, select add existing item. Then we select the folder whereby this project is located. So it's actually at the form B folder. So form B folder, we select the .cs, the form, not the designer, not the rs, just the form B.cs. So we select and click add. So that's the step here. Add existing item, select the form.cs. So now you see the form is actually in our project. So if you click on this form B and you click on the codes here, you see it's actually using another namespace which is called form B project. So if you look at our first form, our project is empty, is using a namespace form A. So you must make sure you can access this form using the namespace. So the namespace is form B project, right? So we copy this namespace, we come to our master form and we using. And with the using, you can access this form B inside this namespace. Okay, this is what we are trying to do. So let's click back to here. So at the master form load, add the form to the tab page. So we must use the namespace. So just now this tab here, using form B project, is actually using the namespace. How do you know what is the namespace? Is when you go to form B, you go to see, look at the codes. You see the namespace is indicated here. So form B is inside namespace form B project. So in order to access this form B, we must use this namespace in our form 1. We put using form B project. Okay, so coming back to the instruction. So at the master form, so this form 1 is the master form. Master form, add the form to the page, we must first use the namespace. And we have to add codes to create the form B object and then put it on tab page 2. So how do we do it? We do it at the form load. So every time your form loads, create the object for form B and add it to the form. So how to create the form load method is you click anywhere on the form, double click. Then you see form 1 load. So now we add the codes here. So what are the codes we are supposed to add? So we are supposed to create a form and we call it the form child equals to new name of the form, and in this case it's not, our name of the form is not subform, is actually form B. Okay, then we can actually change the size of the window. If anytime you see your child form is maybe partially visible on the tab page, you may have to adjust the form size. That's where you add the codes here, width equals to some value and height equals to some value, and change the size of your form. Okay, if not, you can maybe not change the size first. You can just configure the top level, the dog style, the border style, and the visibility. These codes here is to make sure your form looks like a normal page on the page 2. And finally, you add it to your tab page. So tab page 2 control.add. So let's go to the form load and we have the codes here. So form child equals to new form. Our form is called form B, so we don't use subform, we use form B. and this width we may not need it, so we don't change first. And we make sure the top level is false, the top with this stock style field, and the border is changed to none, and we set the child to true. And finally we use the tab page2.control.add form child. So these codes will add this form here into the page 2. Okay, so the next step is for us to write the codes. When we click on page 1 button, it will display tab page 1, and if we click on page 2 button, it will display tab page 2. So how do we do that? We use the event handler. So double click on the page 1 and we type the codes tab control main. So tab control main is actually the whole tab here, this whole tab. And then selected tab is tab 2 or 1 depending on which button you selected. So let's go to the page. So we see tab control main dot selected tab equals to, because this is a page button 1, we use tab page 1. Tab page 1. So we go back to the main designer and click on the page 2 event handler. So double click to create the event handler, and now we can copy the codes here, paste here, and change to tab page 2. So let's run. Okay, so when you click page 2, you see that this page now is now here, and we can change the page. Okay, so if you click back on tab page 1, you will display the page 1. You click on page 2, now the other form is displayed on tab page 2. Let's stop. And coming back to this portion here where we write hide the tab pages header using property. So when you see, even if the second form is loaded to tab page 2, but it looks a bit ugly if you have the pages header here showing here. So if you click page 1, you want one page to be displayed here, and page 2 another page to be displayed here without the header. So how do we hide the header? Is to do this. You change the property appearance to flat button, you change the item size to 0, 1, and you change the size mode to fixed. So let's do it now. So in this tab, you look at property tab control main, change the appearance to flat button. So let's scroll up. This is the appearance, so we change it to flat buttons. Okay, so now you see the look change a bit. The next step is to change the item size to 0, 1. So let's scroll down, look for item size. So this is item size, you put 0, 1, enter, and you see now the header is roughly gone. And the last step is to change the size mode to size modes fixed. Now you see the size mode here, instead of normal, you change it to fixed, and you can now run. Now you don't see the header, so when you go to page 2, page 1, page 2, page 1, page 2. So this simple video shows you how you can actually add multiple forms onto a tab and hide the header so that it behaves like a dashboard where you can have multiple forms on the page. I hope this tutorial is useful for you. If you find it useful, please help to like the video. Thank you.